it's never gonna be easy.
That's right.
Whether, no matter what you do, nobody wants to wake up and go do hard shit. When that alarm clock goes off early, the difference between men or hard men or, whatever, is that they get up and they do the next hard thing. Guys, welcome to the Hustle Up podcast. Today we're doing another one and done segment with Mr. Kurt Brucker. And this one's going to be on the topic of finance and really tracking your performance in your personal life. So please hit that bell, hit that subscribe button, share this podcast with any friends that could use some finance tips. If you gain any value from this whatsoever, send it to your family, send it to your acquaintances, share it on Facebook. Do us a favor. My name is Clint.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Kurt.
For all those who don't know, Kurt is on the Hustle team, and he is actually the head of planning our events, the Hustle ATL meetups, as well as being a financial connoisseur.
And the whole thing that sparked this, he and I had a conversation this morning that got me absolutely fired up. He was talking about, well, let's just dig into it.
Yeah, so this year has been a truly transformational year for me. A lot of growth in a lot of different areas. And it's been good stuff, right? But I'm always one to where can I seek improvement, and I believe 2020 is going to be a massive year for those that are seeking to take that next step. It doesn't matter where you are, if you're able to implement and continue to grow. But what I've found out is as I've implemented many things and grown, there seems to be this, at least for me, where I'll be successful in one area, but the other area tends to slip at times. And I think we all struggle with that, right? Like we focus on one key area, some other area slips. So what I was talking to Clint about, and I think this bears with finances, bears with personal growth, bears with everything, but people need to stop looking at themselves as I'm just Kurt. No, I'm Kurt Brucker Incorporated. Your life is literally a business and you need to treat it as such. And so, I mean, I think that's the biggest takeaway for me. And so what I kind of came up with, and we can get into it and get into more finance stuff, but I came up with what's called a life rubric, right? Like the way society was created and the society that we live in today is like we're all graded out, right? On a scale, and you go through the schooling system, it's a grade scale. So it's like, why don't I just grade myself out today? Like that's the issue that most people struggle with is they go through the schooling system, their structure. When they get outside that structure, they don't know what they're doing. They don't have mommy and daddy leading them to class.
Jungle.
Correct. Yeah. And so,
and hold on, just while they're in that infrastructure, if they're not being obedient to it, they're called a disruptor.
Exactly. And so, for me, it's about when you get on your own. I mean, you could literally do it. You could be a bum. You could lay on the couch all day long if you wanted to, but majority of people don't get fulfillment out of that. That doesn't pursue your purpose. It doesn't fill you up. So you have to add structure, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. One way is, okay, I'm going to work out, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to read books, I'm going to pray, I'm going to do all these different things. And for me, I'll do one of those things very well, and the other areas just completely slip.
Hey, I checked off these 4 boxes today.
Exactly.
I'm good.
And Andy Frisella talks about the power list, and his is very simplistic. I mean, I have 10 things I've listed out that I want to do every single day. I don't know that I'm going to accomplish all those. And part of it for me is I always want to be evolving and growing and become better. So I don't necessarily want to check all those off every day because it gives me something to continue to work towards.
What is the power list?
So I'll pull it up for you.
While he does that's kind of like what we had talked with Dave Wallens about. And he said, I asked him, like, what is your morning routine? And he actually, I was a big, like, make the to-do list of the day kind of thing, like do 10 things to do today. He said he just has an ongoing list and he just adds things and crosses things off of them as he goes.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'll also say that's what I do.
Yeah. I think I actually use Asana for that now. Like I've tried to figure out how
Asana's a great task organizer.
Oh, I love it. Shout out Asana for anyone who doesn't know it. It's how you organize your tasks. It's a software program. It's free to use. You get that pulled up?
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I mean, I think if you're not working off a list and you don't have something crossed out, you're just kind of wasting time.
It's like where does the
when you get to a guy like Dave's level 2, you're not necessarily working off of a daily list.
Correct.
So especially if you're looking to get started, having these 10 things, hey, here's what I'm going to do right now.
Right.
Here's what I'm going to hit every single day. And then I even keep separate lists at this point for ongoing things.
No, I agree with that too. And Dave was one of the most structured people I think I've met. I mean, just talking to the guy, I'm like, you've been like this since you were like 12 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Businesses off the top of my head that I could tell you about, right?
Yeah.
And so just the ability to run 8 different entities under one umbrella requires a different level of structure.
Absolutely.
And you can't run that many businesses without you can't run it by the seat of your pants. I mean, you have to be structured. You have to have a list. You have to have things you do every day.
Elon
it's a
Musk
foundation.
has every day, like every 5 minutes are cut up. I'm pretty sure Elon Musk is the extent is like every 5 minute intervals. Yeah.
That's what they talk about. The higher performers really get that finite to like, all right, what did I do that 10 minutes? You know, a lot of people evaluate on a quarterly or yearly basis. It's like if you really want to be finite and make sure you're moving in that right direction, you need to get very
in 5-minute intervals. I mean, you could hit 12 meetings in an hour.
What was it that John Maxwell did? Remember we used to read about it at book club?
He would keep track of his time like all the time in 5 30-minute intervals, whatever intervals, and then when incremental intervals, incremals, and then at the end of the year he would review all of the ways that he wasted time or all of the ways that he spent it wisely.
So it's like a little bit of the daily, the micro and the macro.
He's a freak though. John Maxwell's an absolute freak. He's a monster. And so to reach that level of discipline, I feel like that is something to strive toward.
Absolutely. Yeah. Power list, Andy.
So this is just my list. So I think the beauty of this is that, which I'm still building out the spreadsheet. I had it originally on the whiteboard, to see it, but I'm like, I want to be able to track this over time. So what we had talked about, it's like, if I'm treating my life as a business, you're not really a business owner. Like you could say, oh, well, we're growing. Well, what do the numbers say? Like, what are you looking quarter over quarter, year over year? Like until you're in those numbers, you don't really know how well you're actually doing.
Right.
And it's the same way with your life. It's like I could say, oh, well, I'm working out good, but like it's all in my mind. There's so many different thoughts. So getting it out on paper, being able to quantify and track over time, that's the purpose of the spreadsheet. But for me, I've got 10 areas. One's obviously waking up 4 a.m. That if I'm up at 4 a.m., I'm getting my workout in.
Is that 5 days a week?
5 days a week. Right now, where I'm at, because like I said, I'll slip in other areas. If I can master the first 5 days or the Monday through Friday, then I can start to implement on the weekends. And I'm going to be doing those things on the weekends, but I really want to be very finite on those days when I need to be uber productive.
So if you wake up at 4, what do you go to bed at, like 8, 9?
No, 10 at the latest. But I mean, even if I get in like a late night at 11 or just got to get up and do it. It's not easy, and there's times where I slip in and
I want to stress that though. This is something I talk about with Dylan, and I got another friend, Hunter, that we talk about this all the time. It's never going to be easy.
That's right.
Whether, no matter what you do, nobody wants to wake up and go do hard shit. When that alarm clock goes off early, the difference between men or hard men or, whatever is that they get up and they do the next hard thing.
Try having a bunch of kids, man.
I can only imagine.
Than that
but the biggest thing too, I was talking to Michael about it, and I was saying, like the issue with society today is everybody is based off their feeling. Like, oh, I feel like it today, but like this is going to keep me accountable. Like, okay, did I do it or did I not? Did I do half the things that I not? And so it's not about feeling. It's about what do I need to get done. It doesn't matter if I'm sick. It doesn't matter if I have 100 other things that like these are things I need to hit. So wake up 4 a.m., work out in the morning, preferably. Like if I don't work out in the morning, I didn't get my point for the day, even if I hit it in the afternoon.
So you have workout in the morning, not workout.
Just work out in the morning. I want to be finite because I know the days are differently when I work out in the morning versus the afternoon.
So if you miss it in the morning, do you give yourself a half point for the evening?
No half points.
Will you go in the evening and not give yourself a point?
Correct.
Yes.
And I don't like half points because you either did it or you didn't.
Yeah.
It's like a participation trophy. Here you go. No, you either did it or you didn't. You held true to your word or you didn't. Another one is, and this is a bare minimum, read 10 or more pages. I mean, I haven't really been an avid reader, but that's a stepping stone, and I'm not even including audiobooks that I'm listening to. For me, spirituality's been a big piece for that. So now praying and reading devotionals, that's another piece for me. Cold shower, affirmations.
Another cold shower guy here.
Cold showers. I mean, those are huge. Look, I'm going to be totally transparent. 5 months straight, I took cold showers. Nothing. Get to winter, I start to get in my feelings. I'm like, just take a warm shower one time. Warm shower turns into a week and a half.
Yeah.
Fuck that,
slippery
dude. You got to get in there, and I get in there, and I'm like ice bath, and you just get so jacked up. If you're not a cold shower guy, I dare you to try it for a week. And if you're in a funk, it'll definitely snap you out of the funk.
Absolutely.
100% believe that.
It made me freeze.
Get comfortable.
It will make you freeze,
right?
but it'll get you it'll get the blood pumping. Couple other things, being efficient at work, making sure I'm staying on task, not getting distracted
How do you quantify that?
That's been the tough part. So that's more of a feel thing for me. But I think to your point, and I've thought about this, it's like having that list of like, but not being very like, if I do it, if I don't, it's like, I got to hit these things out. And if I did, then that counts as being efficient at work. Another thing, no fap, be totally transparent. Yeah. Pornography has been a struggle for me for my entire life. So for me, I'm facing that challenge. I'm facing that struggle head on right now. And that's part of me checking off that every day.
But you notice this, we just talked about getting vulnerable, and we just did a one and done on that. And there's this huge lack of vulnerability among men. Right. And so you talked about, naming your problems, naming your fears, and addressing
Speak it and
that.
it loses control of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, if I keep the whole, and I'll just bring pornography, that's what I brought to the table, because the whole reason that has hold over me or anyone else is because it's not spoken about. It's in the dark. And to your point, if you leave your fears in the dark and you never speak about them, they're going to control you, because you can't talk about it. You can't release that devil energy.
Right.
You just can't.
I've struggled with it too, man.
Man. I mean, hey, there's more people than you think, so it's like, and that's what I always struggle with. I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm weird. Like, who else is, but dude, there's a lot of people out there. I don't really care at this point. I'm ready to solve the issue.
Well, it's good. It's good that
men struggle.
It's good that you're even being vulnerable and bringing it up, because there's people who may be listening who don't even realize that over fapping or over ejaculation and fucking porn are things that are bad for you. Like you could just see them as just another thing in your day and not realize that they really have mental, emotional, and physical.
Absolutely.
Napoleon Hill talks about it. It's the highest form of energy in the entire universe. So when you're utilizing it on a not real beneficial basis, whether that be intercourse with someone that you actually love, or whether it be porn, it really fucks you up on all levels, like you said.
Yeah, and if you guys want to read about it, it's the Sexual Transmutation chapter in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Chapter 6. Might be chapter 7.
Okay,
I think 7 maybe, yeah. And then the last two are just, I'm a big finance guy, so no spin. Like, I'm really finite right now. I've got student loans. I'm really just like, every bonus, every extra money I have besides my kind of fix, I'm trying to just throw through that. So no spending during the day. That includes me making sure I'm meal prepping and not going out to eat and doing those things. And kind of tying into that, healthy eating. And we talk about quantifying. Dude, I just, Mike, we use the Trainerize app. I just downloaded the, I think it's like My Healthy Lifestyle, or that's it. My Fitness Pal.
Yeah.
And tracking your numbers. I mean, people will be like, well, what do you do that? Or like, I've got people that are clients. So I'm an advisor for those that don't know. I've got clients that come in, they've got spreadsheets of like, here's my expenses for the whole years. Some people look at like, here's my monthly expenses. These guys got like, here's like my 2 times I'm going to spend this year. And so like, people are like, that's crazy. But no, it's not.
Yeah, like you can't measure growth or success without tracking.
Correct.
That's the biggest thing. You have to track, and you have to hold yourself 100% accountable to what you're doing.
And you can do all the planning in the world. I can plan a whole financial plan out for you. You can plan to do whatever in your business. But until you're looking at the hardcore numbers and being that finite, you're never going to be able to achieve the success you want to achieve.
It's just like they say, a dream without a goal is just a dream. It will always be a dream.
Yes.
You know
I love that.
Yes.
So you have to have goals, and you have to track your progression in life. And that's the biggest thing I've struggled with as well. I would say the biggest thing out of my entrepreneurship and everything is being organized. I struggle with that. I struggle being organized. Joe helps me out. You know what I mean? It helps me really get on the ball with my emails and stuff like that. But I've struggled with it for life. I don't know why. I just do. But I'm getting better with all these apps and Slack and all these other things that are keeping me on point. But going back to what you said before, if you don't measure it, then you don't know, and you don't have anything to look forward to. So it's like, hey, I want to make a movie. Okay. Well, when are you going to hire people to make the movie? When are you going to set the date? When are you going to scout the location? When you know what I mean? It's not just like, hey, I want to make a movie and that's it. Or I want to make a song. Let's go easier. I want to make a song. Okay, we'll find a beat, right?
Correct.
Then write to that beat. Then record that beat. And then that's another thing that I struggle with. Like, I've been making music forever, but I struggle putting out albums because I never set a deadline. Like, I'm going to be done December 12th, 2019, and we're putting this out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because music, I don't know, it's like a free time hobby for me.
It's an art, yeah.
But still, I need to be putting deadlines on it, because if not, I'll have, like I am now, 56 songs deep and just keep going.
That's right. I mean, it's to your point. It's like I said earlier, it's like school. I don't agree with the whole school system thing, but there are certain components of it, the structure aspect, the deadlines. I got a test, I got a project due, that we should be implementing in our life. We're built that way. Yeah. And if you don't have those, to your point, you'll just keep creating, but nothing's ever getting to the market to see if it works or doesn't.
That's what we say often is that an ounce of planning can save a pound of pain.
That's right.
And it's like, how much extra money do you want to waste on things that could have been avoided, or time or energy? And it's like, why would you, if you were going into war, why would you go into war without a plan?
And that's the biggest thing employers look for too, is not only did you go to school, it's just that you completed something. You started a task and you finished it.
Followed through.
That's the biggest thing. It's not that you went to school. It's that you started something and you stayed with it for 4 to 5 years to complete it and earn your degree. It has nothing to do about school.
That's right.
So if any of this sounds familiar, this life rubric that Kurt is working off of, that he's created, is, it's another way of tracking KPIs, or key performance indicators. You're creating your list of goals daily, and then deciding, hey, where do I want this list to evolve to over the next 6 months? Here's what my daily view is. How am I going to level that up? And
I think, for someone like me who might be listening, I'm more the opposite side of the spectrum than someone who's planning. I would consider that like I'm aware of what I'm good at and what I'm bad at. I'm good at moving things quickly and bringing ideas to fruition, but I'm not the best planner. So I need your Kurts and your Clints and your Matts in my life to be able to help me plan these things. And that comes back to being vulnerable and saying like what you need. Like, I'm glad we're talking about this now, because I'm interested in whatever it is you made, because you're my friend, and because you're my friend, I have a resource that can help me with a weakness. And my weakness happens to be planning. And so if you're someone like me who's listening and you're not a good planner and that's a weakness, like, go seek friends, go seek mentors, go seek resources that can help you overcome obstacles, because obstacles shouldn't be walls, they should be speed bumps. And so like when you create resources like this, so what is this resource? It's an Excel sheet that you created?
Excel spreadsheet, and it's so simple and you can even have an accountability partner. Yeah. Because it's on Google Sheets. So you
in fact, it's probably encouraged you do have one.
And so the whole idea though of keeping on Excel, like I was telling Clint, is like and I'm going to finish it out here of like basically like 4 weeks in every month, basically. You got 4 anomalies there, but essentially you got 52 weeks, right? Okay, over those 52 weeks, of those 10 things, what did I do well? What did I not? What months did I slip? What months did I not? Mm-hmm. And you can directly trace that back to your success in other areas of your life, relationships, work, all these other areas. Yeah. It all works together. It's all energy tied in. And so it's going to allow me to maintain accountability to myself and be able to see where I slipped, why was I slipping, and start to really draw conclusions versus we have 4 million or how many ever thoughts per day and to try to think, oh, I'm doing this well and that well. Well, I don't know until I really quantify it on paper like that.
And not only that, it just also helps you, as a personal. It's like, if I'm not good in this, if I'm not good in organization and Jonathan is, then it's like, okay, well, I'll hire you. You know what I mean? But we're all good at it. Like, he's a great thinker. He thinks of great ideas, stuff like that. Other people are great, at multitasking and staying at work and doing all kinds of stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that's the key to building a team, right? Is showing what you're not good at and filling those voids with positivity.
So what do you call this tool or resource that you're using?
I'm calling it the Life Rubric. It's basically it looks just like a rubric in school you get for a project. So the idea is you're filling it in every day. What did I do on each of those areas? And then at the end of the week, you'll see what was my percentage of success for each topic, and then each day. And then after that, you'll be able to see the overall success ratio for that week.
How long have you been using it?
For about a couple weeks now. Okay. So I'm still, I was doing it on the whiteboard. Actually, it was me and my girlfriend, Megan, kind of came up with it. And so I was doing the whiteboard and I was like, well, she had a good idea. She's like, well, we should put it on Excel. And I was like, yeah, that's right. So I can track over time, because I could still track it on the whiteboard. But then after that week, it's like, I got to erase it. And then
plus you can put the algorithms in the calculations.
Correct. And I'm not building data over time.
Not only that, you can start, like you said, going back and being like, okay, I landed this deal this day. It's like, oh, okay, I see what I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
start
exactly.
cracking
guys,
code.
we've talked about this at length before, but when you're creating these tasks and you get to hit that checklist or you get to punch in that 100%, your body is creating a dopamine hit that's triggering your reward center. It's a pleasure neurotransmitter, and it's giving you that win. So even the minor wins, whether we're talking about making our bed and brushing our teeth, whatever it's going to take to start getting that ball rolling, the benefit of the compound effect is that if your list has to start off with basics, you get to level up quickly. And depending on where you are, reaching that next goal, reaching that next level, the acceleration from point A to point B comes from doing the day in, the day out, and checking off that list.
Yeah, and you can get, as you go throughout your day, and there's so many different patterns you can recognize. You're going to be addicted to something at all times. What do you want to be addicted to? Do you want to be addicted to screen time or likes or
Social
drugs,
media.
or do you want to be addicted to goal accomplishing?
Creation.
Yeah.
My biggest thing, and Joe will tell you this, is like when I'm sitting there and I'm not doing something where I can show you what I've done with my time, I have a problem with that. That's why I don't like TV. That's why I don't watch a ton of movies. I get there, I'm like, I can be doing something. Like, that's why I love music, because I started with nothing, but I can show you what I did with my time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if I watch a TV show or do something like that or play a video game, I can't show you what I did with my time. I did nothing productive. And that's what I try to always be doing, something so that I can be like, well, this is what I did with my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And getting that mindset. What would you tell all the lazy people? You know, the people that just are lounging or have gotten that slump in their life that they just don't get out of bed.
Take a cold
very
shower.
good.
Take a
hard.
cold shower.
No, even more fundamental than that.
One step
What I
at
would
a
say
time,
to
right?
the lazy person, you are the only one who's going to pull you out of this.
right.
Only
Yeah.
you can do it for yourself.
These
These are the ways you can. Yeah.
There's nobody that's going to want it more for. People actually could want it more for you, but that's not actually going to get you what
Right.
you want, right? And so Kurt said take a cold shower. Get comfortable being uncomfortable and put yourself in challenging situations
Or the
every
I'll do
single
it
day.
tomorrow people.
Oh,
You
the
know
I'll
what
do
I
it
mean?
tomorrow. See, that's the problem with that
I'll do it
mindset.
tomorrow. I'll
It
do it
never,
tomorrow.
ever fucking starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
And
you'll do it tomorrow.
Because tomorrow you'll do it tomorrow.
There's
and then
free
tomorrow
beer
you'll do
tomorrow.
it tomorrow. And I think about this with the gym all the time.
The gym on Monday mindset.
The gym on Monday mindset, right? Like, he said he doesn't even give it a point if he misses his morning
Yeah, I like
workout.
that.
But I will be damned if I miss the morning. I'm going in the evening. If I miss the evening, like if I miss the afternoon, the evening, whatever, I'm going at 10 p.m. We're not missing the gym. It's not optional. So creating these things, and maybe it's not the gym for you. Maybe it's you cooking
Eating
is on
healthier.
your list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your meal prep is on your list. Whatever the punch items are, every day I'm going to check QuickBooks and I'm going to make sure that my account is balanced. The micro things, right? Making these non-optional.
I liked what he was talking about too, about just saving money, you know what I mean, and not spending money through a day, because that's something I'm guilty of. Getting a coffee in the morning, then all these little things add up over time. And if you watch Dave Ramsey or any of these people that tell you how to really budget your money, it's like, well, I'm just gonna run to the convenience store and get a bag of chips. I'm just
that's
gonna
where
get
it kills
this
you.
and that. And it's just these little dings where you could be saving.
And that's what we talked about on
We
an
went
earlier
over it this
podcast. But the idea is, and if you haven't budgeted before, I challenge you to go look up the 50-20-30 model. But even get more finite than that. If you define you have X amount per month to spend, and I have $400 after fixed bills, after whatever my financial goals are. Well, that $400, if you have 4 weeks in a month, you get $100 a week. Break that down, by 7, and you've got X amount per day. Where was I at? And you're grading yourself out every day. Otherwise, and that's really creating an electronic checkbook. Back in the day, people had to balance their checkbook.
Right.
That's how they didn't overspend. Today, everybody uses a credit card for the points, but they also get in credit card debt because of that, because they're not looking at it like that.
Right.
So you get finite about everything in your life. And if you boil it down to what we talked about, even to 5 minutes, but at a minimum per day, kind of reevaluating and weekly.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a lot better place than most
what,
people.
What my grandpa used to do, even going back further, is he'd take $100 bill and be like, "This is it. If I go over this, then I'm done for the week. But I get the $100." And he'd say he just watch it dwindle down and help him save it. You know what I mean?
So
you see how far a dollar will stretch when you get that way.
No, but I like that way of thinking. You know, if you don't have it, don't buy it.
That's right.
You know?
Ted Jenkins put out an Instagram video yesterday or the day before that was talking about treat yourself money and the idea that it's something like 80% of Cyber Monday shoppers, who claimed they were going to buy a gift for somebody else, ended up buying a gift for themselves, right? They end up treating themselves. And so having the discipline, breaking down that percentage to 2% of your total income.
I'll just go ahead
2% of your total income is going into treat yourself funds. And actually, the discipline there comes into using that enough that you don't end up binging. Yeah. You don't end up going on some crazy spree.
But what if it's like the one thing that you really want it? You know what I mean? You see it and it bings up and you're like, oh man, I'll never find it at this price again.
There's always another deal.
There is.
I think about that. There's always another concert.
That's the way
there's
you get
always
in your head.
another music festival. There's always another Black Friday deal.
Right.
There is
probably with a bigger TV next year.
And if you really want it, you just budget for it.
Yeah.
Your budget isn't just savings. Like I talk to clients all, it's like create different buckets. It could be a vacation. It could be something else, but just having those different buckets is important.
And then when you do that, you're triggering a reward. Now I've flipped this from an impulse buy to a reward buy, and more dopamine.
In the fraternity, we called it the earn your beer concept.
Earn your beer,
and that's really what it is. And that's what I was gonna say again is on top of having lists, finding ways to incentivize yourself to accomplish goals. I won't, think of if-then statements. I won't do that or whatever it is.
I won't do that till I do this.
Exactly, right. And so it's like, if you can really, it really comes down to discipline. So my answer to the question that I was asking before we started the podcast is, how the fuck am I going to go see this awesome ass lineup at Hangout?
Yep.
I'm going to use the Life Rubric, and I'm going to stay dedicated and disciplined myself, because nobody's going to coach me. You're not going to call me every morning and say, or every hour and be like, make sure you fill out your Life Rubric. I got to make a Life Rubric. I got to set goals. I got to stick to that.
And look at them every day, too, because that's another thing, man. I used to write. I remember it when I first opened my first business. I used to write on the mirror all my goals. And I'd look at them every day. And I'd have an imagine board. And I'd put all the things that I wanted to accomplish, like the car I wanted, the house I wanted, just to look at it every day and start visualizing it, and set it into memory.
And that's the power when you're very intentional about that. And say it with authority. It's like when you show me your affirmation, when you're very intentional about what you're saying, whether it be a car, whether it be an event or whatever. It's like, if you think about that every single day, it's going to happen. Like you just make it happen. Oh, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen because I really want this soul thing.
Yeah. And just to wrap, I just want to say something. I'll say it real quick on that, because we got to wrap this one and done up. But the law of attraction isn't necessarily just the universe conspiring with you. It's your pattern recognition changes as you start to affirm things and set goals. And when you do that on a day-to-day basis, your pattern of what you recognize changes. Therefore, your actions change. Therefore, you seem to manifest things out of left field.
If you keep yourself accountable, you will magnetize yourself to a new level that will bring all that to you.
Perfect. So can people get the Life Rubric for you?
Of course.
Or is it in beta version?
Or I'm going to finish it out.
On the Hustle Up website.
But I'm going to provide it.
All right. So by the time this episode comes out, we will have that on our blog. Download. It's in beta version. Another thing we'd love your feedback on. Would also love your feedback on this episode. So comment down below, subscribe, smash the bell button. You know who we are. This has been a one and done on planning, staying disciplined to your financial planning, planning your life. Kurt Brucker, thank you for coming, my bro. Oh, careful. Hustle team member, plans all of our events, smart guy with finances. Where can they find you?
Well, right now I'm off all social media, but check me out on LinkedIn, Kurt Brucker.
All right, cool. And you guys know who we are at HSTL UP. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Clint.
I'm Matt.
Until next time, hustle up.